What are the legal considerations of downsizing? Here's Cabot Ray and the founder and CEO of DownSize LLC, Kathy Chiero.
As we enter this phase where we're downsizing, where we're facing retirement, there's a lot going on and we get very busy with things. But what are some very important things that we should be taking care of from a legal standpoint as we go into this phase of life?
Well, one of the things we have to recognize is many responsible homeowners feel like that their legal affairs are in place, and they maybe were 30 years ago. You put together a will, you did your insurance things, your home is deeded to husband and wife, you've done some legal things correctly. But one of the things we recognize as we began building DownSize Columbus is legal needs change. Families change. Your three children, the one you thought was responsible has turned out not so responsible. So do you really want the house left in his care? Or do you really want the oldest son, by virtue of being the oldest son, to be the executor of an estate when he may not have turned out to be the one that should be the executor?
Right.
So one of the things with downsizing is you do need to take a new look at your legal affairs. Are they in order? What should be in order? And especially as it pertains to this last residential transition. How are you going to deed that home? To whom are you going to leave that asset to when you pass? And so in DownSize Columbus, the legal component is one that we talk about quite significantly.
And what happens if you don't take care of some of these legal documents that you just referred to, and we get to the end of our life here?
Oh, it is, and I've dealt with that as a realtor. When you're dealing with the adult kids who are dealing with the grieving of the loss of a parent, but I've had it, Cabot, go on for years. They're trying to ferret through their parents' legal affairs because they weren't in order. One of the obvious things that happens is that you lose money. You know, if you pass without a will in place, properly in place, much of your assets may go to the state of Ohio. Now, do any of us want that? No. We want our assets to go on to our children or to our heirs or to an estate or to a foundation. Well, if that's not clearly in order and correctly done, then you may risk much of what you've worked hard for going into the hands of the state of or the treasurer of the state of Ohio when that was not your intention. So one of our presenters at DownSize Columbus is one of the top legal attorneys in the state, and he comes and it puts in place for you. These are the documents you should have in place and updated. They should be reviewed. If nothing else, you should take your existing documents to an attorney you trust and say, look, we are selling the family home. We are moving this direction. We want all of this in order. Will you please review it and make sure these documents are in order and according to our wishes as we enter this last 20 years of our life? And I won't get into it on this video, but we do have an expert at DownSize Columbus that deals with Social Security issues and the ownership of a home as it pertains to the benefits you're going to get with Social Security. Those all need to be looked at. But with, as an attorney, what our attorney advises you to look at is look at the ownership of that last home. Look at your power of attorney. Look at your medical power of attorney. Who has the authority to make decisions for you when you are incapacitated to do so? When you put that last home in ownership, you may not want the standard right of survivorship, because what happens if both of you and your spouse pass? Well, who does that house go to? You may want to put it in a family trust. You may want to appoint an executor, one of your children. All of those things have to be clearly marked. Those are all legal aspects of downsizing that we address at DownSize Columbus by bringing in some of the top experts in the community to help you answer some of those questions.
And again, like putting a home in a trust, you need to do that years before you would be leaving that home.
Absolutely. You need to have that. So that's, again, what we advise our homeowners to do, is to look at some of these issues well before you think you're going to need them. And this downsizing process isn't a decision. It's a myriad of decisions that, when they're done well, you've set yourself up for a life and a lifestyle in your last years that it is on your terms. You've chosen to your benefit because you wisely made your downsize transition, and then specifically you legally put yourself in a position that your wishes are understood and carried out after you pass.
What are some of the changes that you experience that should be not a warning sign, but a light flipping on that, hey, it's time to get an attorney back in on this deal and see where these documents are?
Well, in the very best of terms, as your kids age, as they get older and they're on your own, you have a better idea of who your children are, who's in a position to take care of your affairs.
Right.
Is it the same child you thought 15 years ago? Maybe not. So that's one thing. Death, divorce, anything that is a major change in life should be retirement. Retirement is one. When you have a major change in life, that is always the opportunity you want to take to have your attorney look at your affairs and make sure that your wishes, as you wrote them down 15, 20 years ago, are still the wishes you want to go into retirement with.
Are you preparing to downsize? Visit our website at www.downsizecolumbus.com or call 614-944-5999 to register for our next seminar. That's downsizecolumbus.com.